Hello, sunshines. How art thou? It's your girl, Creative Stitching Diva, and I'm doing something a little bit new, multitasking, and answering some of the questions that people have been asking on my blog. I decided to do some videos on hair. Now I'm gonna graph, but I'm gonna do a story time. On my blog, it was asked, how were you diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 25? So I'm gonna graph the Black Queen gain piece, and while I do that, I'm gonna explain how I was 25 and being diagnosed with breast cancer. So when I was 25, I already had a child who was about 4, going on 5, and he was in pre-K. And I was doing my thing. I was a nurse LPN, and I was basically doing the job of the doctor, the nurse, the office manager. I was basically doing all of that where I was at. And I worked for an OBGYN office. And the OBGYN office was like chief in Jersey City, big time, popular, very, very, very popular doctor in Jersey City at that time. And we decided, Diva needed some more work. Diva needed some more things to do. So I also became basically what it was is a IVF counselor. So I was basically helping people who were having problems with infertility. While I was doing that, while I was helping people who had problems with infertility, I was also doing my regular managing the office and helping out with the regular patients. I was happy where I was at, and many patients loved me. Like, still to this day, they really do love me. I noticed I had a best friend. I have a best friend who I was real close with her mom. I called her my mom as well. She came to the office as well. And she came for a follow-up visit. Now, my best friend's mom had breast cancer. And when she got it again, it was a little forceful. It was way more than the breast. It spread because she didn't get chemo that first time. She just had radiation, I believe, and surgery, and that was it. She didn't have chemo. So this time it was a little aggressive, not a lot. It was actually a lot aggressive. And it tore me up inside. But when she came to my office where I worked at, she was in the room, and I ran in the room because I usually don't like being in a room when my people that I knew come there, because again, it's an OBGYN office. So I ran in there real quick and I told her, listen, I have this lump. Wait, let me go back a tad bit. That day, I didn't go to the laundromat. So you know how when you go to the laundromat, you have clothes that you don't really wear that much because they're either uncomfortable, too small, or whatever. Well, that was kind of me with my bra. I had a bra that I received from, I don't even know. I had that bra in my house for the longest. I never used it because it was like a push-up bra, and I really didn't need a push-up bra. My boobies was like high up here. I didn't really need a push-up bra, but I needed that bra because I had no other bra. So I did I put the bra on, and it was pushed up. My boobies was pushed all the way up. And I noticed that it was actually a comfortable bra. So I was like, I'm surprised that I never even thought to even use this bra because it was very comfortable. So I wore a bra, and that particular day as I am working, I don't know what I did, but because the bra was a push-up bra, it pushed my boobs up, and I touched my boobs like up in here area. And when I did that, I felt a lump, and it took me aback a little bit, like, why do I have this? But I work in the OBGYN office, but it still didn't give me alarms. But I went to this mom figure because she's like a mom to me. I went to her to tell her, like, I think I have a lump, which is crazy because I worked in a GYN office. You would think I would go run and tell my boss, but I didn't. I ran and tell her. And I was like, I don't understand, but for some reason I have this lump. And she was like, yeah, it's probably nothing, but go tell tell the doctor you have it. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So I ran and told him, and he was like, do it hurt? Asking me questions. I was like, no, I actually would have never even known that it was there if it wasn't for this push-up bra and the fact that it pushed my breasts up. So I honestly don't have any other issues with it. So he was like, it's probably just a cyst, a fibroid in your breast, whatever. So basically, this is what other women go to our office and talk about. So we're basically saying that's me too, because I'm 25. So I was like, yeah, you're right. So I went to make myself an appointment, and they didn't have anything for a couple of weeks. I was like, it's okay. It's all right. I'm not worried. It didn't hurt or anything, so I wasn't worried. Now, what kind of made me worried is a couple of days later, it started hurting. And like I noticed like my arm, like going all the way down my arm. I noticed that I was feeling some type of pain, and I'm like, okay, I don't know why this is happening, but to be on the safe side, let me let my boss know. So I let my boss know, and I told him, I don't know why, but I'm having some kind of pains. And he said, really interesting. Why don't we move this date up so you can hurry up and get your scan done? Because I was just going to get an ultrasound. Let's, hurry up and get your scan. When I called, there was no appointments for a scan for like another month or two. So he made the appointment because he was the chief of the hospital that I was going to go to. So he made the appointment for the next day. He called them and he told them, this is my, nurse, and she really needs to be checked, and I need her to be checked ASAP. So they squeezed me in for that next day. That on Thursdays I work, but I only did billing on Thursdays, so it's not like the office was going to be open. But I was like, I'll go, and then as soon as I go get the ultrasound, I'll come to work. So that was what I was going to do. But I went home and I told my mom, and I told her about the pain and whatever, and that I needed to go to the to get the scan. And she was like, well, I'm not doing that, and I'll take you. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll get a ride. And she actually stayed with me, which I'm now that I look back at it, she wasn't going to, but she did. She stayed with me. And I'm kind of glad she did. She stayed with me while I was at the hospital getting the scan. For some apparent reason, it was a long time to get this scan. Like, I have no idea why it took so freaking long to get this scan. It took forever. So here it is. I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, me and my mom. And we were just talking. It wasn't a big deal. Like, we was just talking. Then they finally came and got me to get this scan. When I went to go get the ultrasound, because that's what I was getting, the ultrasound, she just kept asking me questions. And I'm like, no, I didn't have no pain. No, I don't have no fever. No, 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 no. So I'm like, I never really had the scan of my breast before, so I wasn't sure whether or not this was the common questions. I didn't know. So I just went ahead with the whole thing and decided, am I done? She goes, no. Have a seat outside and don't leave. I'm like, okay. Didn't think nothing of it. I told my mom, I was like, they did the scan, but she told me don't leave. So we was there for a good while. We were there for a good while. Then this lady comes and say, hey, I'm such and such. I'm gonna do your doctor wants us to do another test. So I'm gonna do a mammogram for you. And I was like, I'm 25, but I could go. I said, I don't have the paperwork, but I could go to my office and get it, or I could send it when I get there because I gotta work anyway. And she's like, oh no, it's already done. They already sent it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, okay, my coworker is there. Maybe my boss called, but oh, okay, all right. It was all done. Everything, all done. Got the mammogram. She too asking me questions, and I'm like, okay, all right. Ask me questions, but okay. And that was it. I went to my job, and my mom dropped me off. My mom, I guess, went back to the house, and I noticed my coworker was acting funny. But again, I didn't care. I just started pulling out my work and started pulling out whatever I needed to do to work. And my coworker was standing by the fax machine. The crazy thing is, I wasn't even thinking about the fax machine at all. But yeah, she's standing by the fax machine, and I'm like, weird. Why is she standing by the fax machine? I don't know. And then she told me, because I guess she couldn't hold water. I know I look crazy, but I'm standing here because Musha told me, that was his name. Musha told me, don't let you see the fax machine. And I'm like, okay, I honestly wasn't even thinking about the fax machine, but okay, I don't understand, but okay. And then I started thinking, fax machine just came from this hospital. Like, what the easy is going on here? Why, why are we doing this? And she was like, I don't, honey, I don't know. Like, he just, I don't want you to look and get yourself all worried. And I was like, but I wasn't worried. Now I'm worried. What's going on? She's like, I don't know. I was like, all right, I'm not gonna look at it. It actually was not nothing to me. I honestly didn't even think nothing of it, to be honest. So I just let her act strange. And as soon as the fax came, and the thing is, faxes usually faxes for your reports don't always come that quick. Um, so I honestly didn't think I was gonna come straight from that office and get the results right then and there. So again, she made it so well known because I really was not thinking about it at all. She made it obvious. So my boss came, and on Thursdays he do not come to the office. The office is closed because he used to work in New York. So I'm like, what are you doing here? He was like, started asking me questions like, when did you get this bump? When did it start hurting? And da 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 da. And I'm like, well, it was here. And I'm answering his questions, and I'm like, why all of a sudden he's asking me this now? He didn't ask me this when I told him I had it, and he just said make your own appointment. So he came in. He was like, do me a favor, go in the room, take your shirt off. I'm like, okay, all right. I went in the room, and he did like one of those exams, the breast exam, just to feel where it was at. My coworker was in there because we didn't play that, even though it was just us and the police was closed. We didn't play that. Everybody was very professional. So my coworker was in the room with us, and he was like, all right, do me a favor, get dressed and come in my office. So I'm like, okay, whatever you say. all right, I'll go in your office. So I went into the office, and while I'm in the office, because my boss is amazing when it came to certain things. When he well, especially with me, because he knew I love to learn things. The one thing that I loved about him was when he talked to me, he didn't talk to me like I was a kid or a baby or whatever, and he didn't talk to me like I didn't know anything. He talked to me like you went to school and you know some of these things, but I really want you to understand what we're about to talk about. And he did that all the time. But even when we were in the room, he explained, do you know what this is? And that's how I learned so much through him. So I went and in his office, and I see him putting up the scans on the light that you can see the ultrasound. And I'm looking like he went to the hospital and got it. Like, this man really turned around for me. He was actually on his way home, and he lived like an hour or two away. Not an hour or two, like an hour away. So when I tell you he turned around and came back to the office and didn't have to just for me, he did. He turned around, came to the office, and he picked up the scans. He got the results through the fax, and he came in the room, and he was like, so I got your scans. And I was so confused on like, how did you do that? But okay, I just got it, but okay. And he was like, and it's coming out like this. He was like, he explained, so a regular, tumor looks like this. He showed me how it's regularly supposed to look. But one that's suspicious for like carcinoma looks like this. And he showed me. And I looked and I see my name at the top, and I'm like, that's mine. And he said, yeah. This area is lit up, and usually when it's lighted like that, that means that it could be suspicious for some type of cancer. And all I heard was womp 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 womp. I didn't hear anything else he said. Then in my mind, I'm like, this man is a liar. Why is he playing games with me? I'm only 25. And if he's not the liar, it's the hospital that's the liar. Like, the hospital getting dirty. The hospital is going to get sued. Like, I'm really upset now. I'm really upset on why this is happening. And so I honestly didn't know what else to do. I said, wait. Please don't explain nothing else to me. I need to call my mom because this is a lot. It's a lot. So he was like, go ahead, go call your mom. So I called my mom. The crazy thing is he came so daggone fast that my mom said she literally got in the house and sat down. She said she really honestly just got in the house and sat down. So I was like, no, you need to come because this man is crazy. He's telling me something and I don't know. I don't know. He's saying something about my skin. I need you to come. And she came right away. So yeah, she came right away. She came in there, and that's when we went back into my boss's office, and he explained what he explained to me to my mom, and I just bust out crying. This man just told me I may have cancer, and I'm 25 years old. Who the heck want to hear you may have cancer, breast cancer at that? And I felt some type of way because I feel like I'm lying to patients when I'm telling them, oh, you don't need your mammogram until you in your 40s, and you don't need this, and unless you have family, history, and this is what I was taught to say. So what I was taught to say contradicted what was going on with me being 25, and I didn't even qualify for a mammogram, but I just had a mammogram. it was a lot. It was a lot to process. So yeah, I cried. And my mom is like, calm down. Everything's going to be all right. You know, he has to say this. And, you know, this is just a precaution. I really think that you're going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. And, you know, I thank God for my mama for being there because I really didn't know who else to call. So, my boss, oh my gosh, magnificent. Already had a doctor waiting for me the next day. Um, I had surgery already ready to do a biopsy that next day to find out if it was cancerous. And the doctor that he chose is a doctor that didn't even take my insurance. Let me tell you how good God is, okay? It was a doctor that didn't even take my insurance, and he was willing to do it for Dr. Musha, the doctor that I worked for. He was willing to do it for him because this was very important. And this is surgery, you know, this doctor really like helped me out. He helped me out a lot. So that next day, which was crazy because I had a date planned for that day, and I had to tell him I can't go on the date because I was told I had breast cancer. Actually, the date was for Friday, and my surgery was scheduled for Friday morning. So I had to tell my date I was just, you know, I think I'm being diagnosed with breast cancer, so I can't go. He really thought I was lying. He was like, "That's the best you could do," and I'm like, "Word? Like you really think I'm just gonna make that up?" But you never know. So yeah, that next day I went and got the biopsy done in the hospital, and it literally was the next day. The next day, I um I didn't even have time to process. A lot of times, people have time to process these things because the older you get, the slower the tumor grows. And the tumor that I had was growing at a fast pace because not only was I young, I was still getting a menstrual, and I was also at the age where I can have kids. So yeah, at the age where you have kids, that means you still are producing estrogen, and tumors feed on estrogen. So if you didn't know that, you know that now. Tumors feed on estrogen. So the fact that, you know, I was still getting a menstrual and 25, they needed to act fast. When I got out the surgery, I'm still trying to wake up because, you know, if you had surgery, you like kind of groggy and whatever. So I'm trying to wake up. I noticed that my boss came. So I'm like, wait, the office is open today, and my boss was there. My boss was there. He literally ran to the hospital because he wanted to be the one to tell me my results. He didn't want anyone else to tell me. He wanted to tell me my results. And he said, so they did the biopsy and they found that it is cancerous. It's stage 3. It was the size, and I didn't hear anything else. I just boo-hoo cried. I cried. It was very emotional because I'm 25 years old and you're telling me I had breast cancer. So it was a lot. It was a lot for me to process that. Now what? You're 25, you got breast cancer. Now what? Now what? So yeah, the one thing I could actually say is that the doctor I worked for was phenomenal. When it came to me and my needs and everything that I needed, he helped, he provided. I didn't even have to worry about finding an oncologist. I had to have a actual breast doctor, and he gave me like one of a good one, like one of the top ones. Like everything that he did was top of the line, and made sure that I was comfortable with it, and everything was done. Everything. I didn't have to worry about a lot, and all I did was have to show up to the appointments. And he was like, don't worry about working, you know, I'll make sure you're okay. And so yeah, I just went and had I had another procedure like literally 2 weeks away. He told me I didn't have a choice. I had to have chemo regardless. Um, and 25, they asked me, do you want um, um, a double mastectomy, or do you want just a lumpectomy, which is just to take the lump out, or do you want us to take your breast off? And he was like, I know you're young, but we could still um, fix it. You don't have to worry about not having breasts. But I'm 25 and I'm still trying to date and I'm still trying to find a man of my dreams. And I'm like, I still want my breasts. I wanted to live, but I still wanted my breasts. So I asked him, what is the difference? What is the survival rate? Will it make a difference? And he said, to be honest, it doesn't. I'm finding now that I should have had the mastectomy, but I should have had the mastectomy. I really should have had the mastectomy. But I'm still thinking I should still get it. That's what I'm thinking. I should still get the mastectomy. It's still an option for me because I do have to have breast surgery. But thank God now I'm good. I had to have chemo, which was 6 rounds of chemo, 6 rounds of a lot of chemo. A lot of chemo. It was so much that they had to change it mid intervals because I was really, 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 really sick. I was really sick. Chemo made me really sick. And then I had something called hand and foot syndrome. But because of my age, they gave me like 3 different types of chemos and they would not stop. It was like, I'm sorry. I was like, please, because again, like I said, I had a best friend whose mom had breast cancer at the same time. And they gave her chances. They gave her days where she didn't even have to have her chemo because it was too much for her. But they couldn't do that with me because I was too young and they had to be aggressive. I was one of the only, now that I'm thinking about it, the only one in Jersey City at that time. I'm pretty sure not no more, but I was the only one in Jersey City who had breast cancer at the young age of 25. And I wound up having my birthday right around chemo, my first chemo, because I had to have my very first chemo while I had my birthday and whatever. But I worked. I worked. So on days that I felt good, I would work. And on days that, I would have my chemo on a Thursday or Friday. So because I had to have so much chemo, my chemo session was from like 9 in the morning or 8 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. And so because of that, I really, really, really had to come on a Friday because it was easier for people that worked there for me to come on that Friday. So I went on Fridays to have chemo treatments, and by Sunday I was sick. So and I would have chemo every, I believe it was like every 3 weeks. I would have that off week, and then when I started feeling better again, that's when I had to have chemo again. So it was like a continuous thing over and over and over and over and over again. And it was getting on my nerves, but it was something that was needed, something I had to do, and I did it. I did it and I got it over with and I mastered it. The thing about it is I was in so much pain, y'all. I was in a lot of pain. I was in a lot of discomfort, sick all the time. It was a lot. It was a lot, but it was something that had to be done. And I did it. I conquered it. I'm so proud of myself. And I still have issues to this. That's how I had found out I was diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 25. So for you, if you ever have, do your self exams. If you ever have a lump or anything, go to your doctor ASAP. And I'm going to say it does not matter if you are if you have it in your family or not, because I was told that it didn't matter, even though my grandma had breast cancer the same exact year I had it. Both radiation and chemo together, I had to go with people who I didn't know, but they were all older. So it was a lot. It was a whole lot for me to process, because I had to deal with a lot of people who were not my age. But listen, if you have any issues with lumps and you're not sure, you don't have any idea whether or not you should be concerned, go to your doctor. If you need to hit me up so I can help you, because it's really serious. It's serious, and we really need to know whether or not these things are going to affect us. And that right there definitely affected me. And if I did not work in that setting, I'm going to be like really honest. If I did not work in that setting, I would have definitely kind of ignored it, because my mind was focused on, you do not need an actual um, mammogram until you are 40. And to be honest, still to this day, it's still 40. They may lower it depending on if you have it in your family. But when it comes to families, some doctors are saying it has to be a family member who is like your mom or your aunt or something like that. Not even my grandma. So yeah, I felt some type of way that even my own grandma, they said it didn't matter. So just be careful out there. And if you're not too sure, talk to your doctor. And that's one thing that I am grateful for, is the fact that I had the right network. And not only did I have the right network, it was quick. As soon as I found out about it, we took care of it. We took care of it quickly. Please, 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 please. It's safer for you to be on the safe side, even if it's uncomfortable. Because don't get me wrong, it's days where I'm even myself saying, I don't want to do this. I'm scared to even touch my breast, because if I even feel it, I will feel some type of way. I don't even want to feel it. I don't even want to be in that situation. But I honestly rather be on the safe side and do that than to let it go. And then what? Then I'm stuck. And you don't want to be like that. Cancer is nothing to play with. It's really quick, and it gets, especially if you're young, it's really, really quick. It really, really, really is. Don't play with it at all, especially if you're young. Do not play with it. Go get some help. Go. If you have anybody in your family, I don't care what these doctors are saying. I have no idea why they're saying these things, but get second opinions if you have to, third opinions if you have to, but do not let a doctor tell you that it doesn't matter if your grandma had it or not. Don't let them tell you that. Don't, because they did that with me. And don't let them tell you that. Go get your opinions, your second opinions, and your first opinions. Go get it. Just don't let them tell you that, though. But I just want to say thank you to you guys, and be on the safe side. Your life is so precious. And thank God I was able to get it really, 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 at a good timing. I was able to get it at a good timing, and thank God I'm good now. And to let you know, the reason why I started crocheting is because I became depressed after having breast cancer. There are some things that go on in the back of people's mind, or some things that go on that you don't realize. because I honestly was depressed and didn't even know it. My mind and my body and my soul was changing, and I didn't even know it. I had absolutely no idea that I was processing things differently now. Things that I would just do and be on point with, I wasn't anymore. So breast cancer really did put a lot of toll on my brain and my body and my soul. And I'm just thanking God that now I'm better. I'm way better now. So just get the help you need. If you need help, get it. And you'll be fine. You'll be fine. If you are a pink sister, write down there in the comments below that you're a pink sister and you're a warrior and you're a survivor and you survived this monster. Okay, 'cause it's a monster. You survived the monster. And you can tell your story too. And we could get together and talk about this, because this is something that we don't do. We're not talking about it. And especially for those who are under 30, we're not talking about these things. These things need to be talked about. And so I'm opening up the dialogue to talking about it. And we can save more lives. Have a great weekend or day, or whatever day you're watching this. Have a good one, and look out for some new content. I'm having a class right now, and the class is to teach you how to do a Grafghan sweater. It's a Grafghan sweater. Learn how to do this Grafghan sweater. I promise you, you will be so excited. But not only am I teaching you this, I am also teaching you how to add it to a garment, how to make that pattern. The pattern is going to be a simple pattern that I made a while ago. But the pattern is going to be included, the graph is going to be included, written instructions, and my videos for this one. I'm Shauna, Creative Diva, and I'm that graphic queen. I am doing my graph thing and my crochet thing and bringing them together, and here to help you do tutorials. Don't forget to check my website out for some new and improved graphs, and see you later. Don't forget, go in the description below and check out when I'm having any more content. You guys have a good one. Bye, sunshine.